Hey guys, Dizzler Magic here, and you may have heard by now, but maybe not because, well, there's a lot of products coming out and a lot of spoilers and storylines and everything. But the upcoming Unset Unstable is going to have, as is the norm, amazing lands. I assume I'll probably edit them in to be cycling up on screen right now. Check these out. I mean, there's like, okay, extended art, where it's like kind of below the text on a normal card, and then there's full art, and then there's like this card doesn't even have a border. So instead of like calling them full art unlands, I'll probably just say borderless lands because it looks like a what they call a full bleed when they print it right to the edge and then cut it. Or I think it's called an over bleed and then you cut it in, I don't know. Remember guys, I have a background in professional printing. Now, though the top is kind of symmetrical with the bottom, and I like the translucent effect, I don't like the black corners because it's almost like it looks like it was cut wrong. That said, that is pretty much my only complaint. These look absolutely amazing, and I want every deck I ever build from now until forever to have these and only these as the lands. And probably some dual lands, too. Oh, you guys know I play mono pretty heavy, though. So the question is, since unset cards traditionally have almost no resale value, I mean, people still collect them, but it's not like it's going to go into a popular deck. It quite literally cannot do that. Now, if you're not familiar, they all have silver borders, which means that they're not legal in any format at all. So the question on everybody's mind is, if you're not going to rely on, you know, the singles, if you even want to call it that, since it's a purely draft set, if you can't rely on the singles to make you the money, if vendors are going to, you know, actually open this product, are these lands enough to actually pay for the pack? So basically, if I open up 10 boxes of it myself and sold just the lands, would I make a very slight profit? Or perhaps bigger than that, because I don't know if you guys have seen the price on the on lands right now. But then again, okay, they came back in Zendikar, kind of, and those are, you know, universally $2 retail, maybe not anymore. But then BFZ came out and OGW recycled the lands and it just ruined it. Now, by ruined it, I mean I personally own about 3,000 of them, which is enough to build decks with them with matching artwork until the end of time. So I'm very happy about that, but like price-wise, investment-wise, not smart. And everybody and their grandma is sitting on pounds of these. So then Amonkhet rolls around and you got the Bolas horns, which, you know, adds a little bit more theme. It's like, oh, I like Nicol Bolas. I want to play with Bolas lands. And a little bit extra marketability, I guess you would say. And I think they are worth a little bit more. I know that BFZ lands just kind of settled in at 19 cents a piece. They're probably still there today. I mean, it fluctuates and it's hard to measure because you can't just go by the lowest price on eBay. You got to kind of almost go with like a recent average. But I think the Amonkhet ones were going for like 30, 40 cents or something, at least even in bulk, which that's even worse. I mean, you wouldn't really sell these individually either. So are these good enough looking, and they're so perfectly colorized, except the mountain, which is clearly not red. Are they good enough that the demand will pay, I guess you would almost say $3.99 a pack, although you guys know that that's not what we pay as single sellers. We pay on average $2.30 per pack, so can we get, after shipping and fees, more than $2.33? And I'm going to say if you set it at $2.50 shipping and envelope costs and all that, you're still not going to get there. Now, if I sold them in a group of 100, I probably would, but believe it or not, that actually weighs enough that you might have to send it priority. It's like, I think 9 ounces for 100 cards or something like that. And then you got the box, and then you got the padding. It can get up there. Well, if you think about it, okay, so we'll just say $2.50 a piece, because maybe it will settle in there. So let's say a deck needs 20 of them. I think that's pushing it because you'd probably have like 8 dual lands, but okay, that's $50 added to the cost of the deck. Now, some people are like, oh, I don't mind dropping $200 on a deck, but you probably do if you're not getting good cards out of it. You don't need to spend it. I mean, if you need to drop like $10 on an Undergrowth Champion back when those were that price, then you need to do it. I mean, it is what it is. You need the card, you want it in your deck, okay, pay the money. And then you absolutely feel like you got something, because, you know, you buy a $10 card, it's going to be damn powerful, obviously. But for just decoration purposes, I don't know. But then again, you've seen what people drop on really nice custom deck boxes and, you know, expensive binders and, you know, top loaders and really nice sleeves and that kind of stuff. Some of it's functional, some of it's style, so it's very debatable. So the question still hasn't been answered. I mean, $2.50 a piece seems high, but I don't know. People were kind of buying them for $2 a piece when they were Zendikar lands, but not at the time. Certainly not. But if these were only worth 50 cents a piece or $1 a piece, nobody would open them. So they almost have to reach like 250 a piece. No vendor would continue to open them if every single pack they opened they lost money, unless they think that the singles are a really wise long-term investment, which, no. If you want to make money on an unset, it's not exactly a secret, pretty dang basic, keep them sealed. The value is in drafting, and when they're no longer printed, people who decide 3 years later they want to draft it, they're going to pay a premium. That's how it always is for every box and every sealed set of, sealed boosters. But this is like purely draft. Well, and collectibles, but really draft. I mean, even more so than Conspiracy, because some of those, Birds of Paradise, I put them right in my Modern deck. So that's where it gets weird. I mean, if people stop opening them, the price will go up and up and up because the demand will outstrip the supply until they do hit an acceptable level. So if these are the only profitable cards, they just mathematically have to be sold for $250 or above. And I think even in bulk, they'll probably hit $3. The first week they might be $5 a piece. Nobody knows. Now, let me throw out a conspiracy theory here. Are you ready for this? Put your tinfoil hat on because we're going deep on this one. I don't mean to imply that it's complicated. It's actually really simple. So we're not going that deep, apparently. In fact, take your tinfoil hat back off. I don't know what that would block, actually. In fact, whatever device you're on right now probably dropped its wireless connection because of your stupid tinfoil hat. Unless it's acting like an antenna or it's like deflecting it and amplifying it because it's like a bowl shape. This is starting to sound like it is the conspiracy theory. Okay, get this. So you can't play with the silver cards unless your play group thinks it's funny. But as a whole, you can't. Can't throw them in your commander deck. Can't throw them in modern. Their value is effectively 0, even though that's not quite true. Some of the rares from earlier unsets, I think they're like $4 to $6 or something like that. So, okay, all right. But in general, they're really hard to move. If you got 50 of a single, you're going to be waiting years to move that. So what else could go in an unset booster pack, theoretically, that could legally be used, even whether or not it has a correct border? Now, it's not even about a correct border because, borderless Masterpiece cards are legal. The ugly looking, Egyptian ones. They have no black border. So it's not they have to have a black border to be legal. It's they can't have a silver border. But you could slap a potato down on the field and use it as a token, and it wouldn't matter. The rules say something to the effect of literally anything can be used as a token. I think there's some clauses about confusion and tap direction and whatever, but you could just flip a card over, you can use an empty sleeve, you could use a die, it just doesn't matter. And that is affected by the REL too, the rules enforcement level, as far as I know. So the tokens could be silver bordered, or it honestly wouldn't matter. You could just make them black bordered and nobody would care. You could play with them. You could make them full art, put them right to the edge, make them borderless, do full bleed on them. So just think about this. Now, they could even just skip that and just make really, really funny artwork. They could draw them all as cartoons or something. So if you're into anime or you just like cartoons or illustrations in general, you could use these amazing artwork tokens. And by the way, none of this is confirmed. Total conspiracy theory. But you could use them forever, and they could print 1/1 spirits, flying white spirits, 1/1 humans, 1/1 warriors, 2/2 zombies, the stuff that's just recurring, a 2/2 flying hydra, stuff like that. And even if the unset itself didn't have a card that summoned a 2/2 zombie at all, you could still include it just so that people could have it and play with it. In fact, you could make every single token foil. They're really getting into foil tokens. You can make them all double-sided. Hell, you can make them double-sided foil tokens. That would actually up the probability of you being able to use them, and you could sleeve them in whatever direction you want. So that would add some value, because you guys know that if you've got a modern deck and you're dropping out zombies, people sometimes play with those rather expensive double-sided foil zombie tokens that were given out at, I don't remember, Eldritch Moon pre-release probably? There was one of them in every kit in addition to the promo. It was pretty cool. Very good touch. Very good idea. So I know people who own 10 of those, and those are their tokens that they use. So just think about it. If you had a token that's going for $1, $1.50, and people aren't going to buy one unless they really just want to put dice on it. Usually when I use a token like a servo, I bring about a dozen, give or take. Usually I don't even sleeve them either if they're servos, but if it's something rare like, I don't know, a 5/5 Dragon, off of Dragon Master Outcast, I might sleeve them just in a different sleeve so I don't accidentally shuffle them. But yeah, I want one per because it's a more intimidating board state and it's less confusing to you and less confusing to your opponent, especially if you do what a lot of my decks do, which is drop counters on your tokens. Oh my god, does that get complicated with like dice stacked on top of dice or whatever. And you could legitimately have a judge called on you purposely misrepresenting the board state, in their opinion, by confusing them with dice. And they don't know what color die means what, and they messed up the blocking assignment because they didn't realize they had, tokens with counters on them. So, yeah, I just like to have a whole bunch. So, if they were $1.50 a piece, which is kind of expensive for tokens. I mean, emblems never get that high. But if they had those in the unsets, it could offset some of the cost of the lands, which would be nice because that would actually up the demand for the lands because they would be able to be sold for like $1.50 to $2. But it would almost have to be a guaranteed token in every single pack, which, I mean, they could skip the marketing cards for an unset, probably. Even then, I think they shrunk it to like 10% of packs have a marketing card instead of like 1 in 3 or whatever it was before. Now, the other thing is you have to consider that some of these lands will probably be printed as foils, and those will probably be like $30 to $50. Like, realistically, a foil of one of these, the moon's the limit, or the sky, or what. Oh my god, you guys should count how many idioms I screw up on my channel. It's probably over 100 at this point. I swear, when I'm not recording YouTube videos, I know every stupid saying that people have ever said, but when I try to do it in front of a mic, for some reason, I completely screw it up. So, okay, if you know 1 in 50 packs is going to have a $50 card in it, then you just added $1 to the cost of that pack if you open enough for that to be a predictable volume. So that may drop these lands below a certain amount. Now, there is one more consideration here besides potentially valuable tokens. And really, I mean, I can't think of anything else that would go into a pack. The rest is just straight up 15 silver bordered cards or whatever, or 14, I think it is. Check these out. These are sold by a company over in Greece, and apparently the entire Greek economy is propped up right now by custom Magic cards because the best of the best, custom-made tokens and emblems and lands and stuff come from Greece, like exclusively. It's very strange. But yeah, you can get these on eBay, and they have a ultra super thin like adhesive laminate on them. I've never seen one of these in person, but I have seen the foil ones, not the alters. But like foil emblems, foil tokens, that kind of stuff. And they look amazing. They look like Force of Will good. They look far better than the quality of any Magic card ever. The closest you could maybe get is if you guys ever saw a Masterpiece Eye of Ugin. There's something about that purple gradient. It makes it look like it's glowing off the card. I mean, that's the best looking foil I've ever seen in the history of the game. Hands down, no contest. It's not even close. So if you've never seen one, just start asking around if somebody has one just so you can look at it because it's insane. But these ones from Greece are on like a whole nother level. They're on par with that easy. So there's multiple different sellers, I think, and I'd be worried about a couple things with this product. So let me just throw out there, their mass is different and their bendability is different. Just whether it's 1% or 50% or something, it is not the same. And so these will not shuffle correctly. You will not be able to correctly randomize your deck if you use these. That is just physics. Now, how severe the patterning and the grouping would be and the non-randomization would be is way just past anything that even a supercomputer could calculate. Although you could just try it 1,000 times, record the results anyway. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't buy these. But they do have ones, tokens especially, that they just made themselves and they look amazing. Now, the lands that they make themselves, I'm not sure about that, but they also sell altars, some of the other Greek sellers, so that's them. I mean, if you've ordered them, and I know I've seen them in person, a lot of the Greek cards, but if you've dealt with them, leave a comment down below about what you thought, if they shuffled differently, if they felt differently, if you liked them, didn't like them. But the point I'm making with these is they're obviously the closest you can get, kind of. I mean, they're kind of not official, but they're also kind of still legal to play, kind of. I mean, changing the weight of the cards, honestly, it's probably not, but at like F&M, who cares? Like I said, you're only affecting yourself and only negatively. But these sell for $2.50 a piece plus $2 shipping. So $4.50 a piece, and I'm sure they could like combine shipping, and keep in mind it's international. So, I mean, if people are buying them, I mean, some of these have like 50 to 200 purchases each in the eBay history. So people are buying non-official, really crazy good-looking lands that are like super hyper extended full art, I guess you could say. Not borderless though, mind you. And they're not even an official product, and they're still willing to pay that price. So will there be the same market for absolute official, more likely to be worth more money, more likely to go up in value over time, official Wizards of the Coast lands? Like giant borderless, textless, amazing super lands. Actually, they're not technically textless. I think, yeah, I think $250 plus shipping might actually be a reasonable price. Even if tokens offset it, even if foil full arts offset it, I still think that people will pay quite a bit for these. But you know what I could do is just ask you guys, what is your top dollar? And actually pretty much any comment with a $ and a number after it will automatically get marked as spam by the Google comment algorithm. So fair warning. I would just, if you're going to comment on it, like, I'd pay $5, just write, I'd pay 5, just the number 5. In fact, hell, spell it out. Spell out the word 5, then I almost guarantee it won't get marked as spam. So, that said, I will obviously attempt to unmark them all as spam. I can do that. Yeah, one at a time manually. But, leave a comment. What would you pay? And especially like in bulk. Like think about like, oh, I want to pick up 22 of them. Okay, so what would be your top dollar on picking up 22 of them? Mint condition, fresh out of the pack, non-foil. So I'm curious to see what you guys say, and I'm sure the comment section won't totally get trolled by people lying and saying, oh, 10 a piece, yeah, absolutely, I'm rich, yeah. Or, oh, 10 cents a piece, they're going to be worthless, ha ha ha. Like, those two people are either idiots or not being serious. Guys, this is super duper serious. This is a scientific study, so you guys got to participate correctly. I have ruined it. Now that I said it, you guys are going to be posting some weird crap down there. I would literally trade my sister for one of these mountains. Well, what if I just make all the jokes first? I would trade 1 goat and 3 chickens. Oh, about 10 billion Zimbabwe dollars, but that would be my top? Well, no, I don't have cash, but I would trade you 7 full art Amon Kets for it. So anyway, leave whatever the hell you want down in the comments section. Hopefully this has been very enlightening and very deep into the topic, which is what I like to do with a lot of my videos. Just take every angle, everything, and then try to predict the future. And I'm very commonly right, at least more than 50% of the time. Not much more than 50% of the time, but that still beats most other people. And hey, I mean, you can watch CNN, you get about 50% accuracy. So hey, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, maybe they'll tank, maybe they'll be 25 cents, maybe they'll be 25 bucks a piece. I have no idea. And as a vendor, that scares me because I don't know how many to buy. And that's why I'm thinking about it, and that's why I'm making a video about it. So at least you guys don't have to stress over that. You just have to decide completely after the fact if you want to buy them or not. So on that positive note, I'll see you guys next video.